Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 1989 Porsche number 65 Rothsport Racing 911, known as the Desert Flyer. Now this was built to compete in the 2017 NORA, National Off-Road Racing Association Mexican 1000, and it is based on the 964 version of the 911 that was built between 1989 and 1993, was converted from all-wheel drive to two-wheel drive, installed full FIA roll cages, strengthened the chassis and added skid plates. For the engine, the internals were kept stock, but the headers, muffler, induction, wiring and engine management were all upgraded. The gearbox was strengthened and had the gear ratio changed. For the suspension, the car was given rally-style shocks and struts. The brakes received a dual master cylinder for the bias, and the steering was upgraded to an electric system. The oil cooling was removed and put into the back of the rear window, as you can see there. And the car got a custom fuel cell and a spare tyre mounted in the front along with a tool kit. So quite an extensive overhaul to the car overall, and that's just some of the stuff that's been added. Obviously it's got extra headlights, it's got bull bars up front and rear, and it's got a whole host of little extras inside as well, like a radio, fire extinguishers, just all sorts of little electronic gizmos just to help it get on its way. So and obviously sparkle seats and everything basically you could ever ask for in a car to deal with a Baja race. And all of that those extras and upgrades meant a podium finish in the 2017 race, and then it went on to win first place in its class at the 2018 race. It also came second in 2019 for the Mexican 500 in its class, so quite successful. And no surprise about that whatsoever, because it really does look like a well sorted race car or rally car, especially with those massive fat chunky tyres that have all of the off-road grip possible. And because of the engine being upgraded, it's got a lot more in the way of power as well. It's still a 3.6 litre flat 6, but it now produces 325 horsepower and 287 pounds-feet of torque, which is plenty when you're dealing with a car that only weighs 2,840 pounds, and he's obviously dealing with the off-road elements as well. And you don't want something massively quick, but obviously you want something that's going to be quick enough. So let's get out onto the open road and see just what this car can do. Right, so here we are at a part of the map where I test all of my off-road vehicles that I review on this game. So let's see what it's capable of. So despite being rear-wheel drive, this is more than capable of dealing with the rough stuff. And it just goes to show that you do not need all-wheel drive to go off-roading. And it's also because it's got plenty of power and not much in the way of weight, fairly quick in terms of acceleration. 0 to 60 in 4.215 seconds. 0 to 100 in 10.877 seconds, and it goes to a top speed of 133 miles an hour. Now obviously that does not sound all that much in terms of top speed, despite having 325 horsepower, but top speed is not the point. It's about being able to get up to a good rate of speed and holding it there over no matter whatever terrain that you're coming across. And this is pretty much more than capable of that, apart from when I'm behind the wheel, because I failed miserably there. But still, it's more than capable of dealing with the rough stuff, and it's a really rather fun car to drive. You can tell it's had its gear ratios changed because they're really rather close together, as is typical for cars like this. So it's working its way through those gears really rather quickly, which is why the top speed is not as high as you might expect. But it does mean that it's getting up to that kind of speed really rather quite quickly. So getting to 100 in pretty much no time at all. Just over 10 seconds or nearly 11 seconds is not bad at all for a car like this, and it means that you were able to carry a lot of speed as well, because it handles really nicely. Those fat chunky tyres are giving you all the grip possible on these kind of surfaces, and despite it being rear wheel drive and rear engined, it doesn't feel as though it's got a lot of oversteer to it. Obviously you can still slide it out and you might well lose control of it as well, but it feels a lot more balanced than you might expect a rear-wheel drive classic 911 to be. And all in all, a really rather joy to drive just on this game. And it's really nice to see that the went for something a little bit different in terms of doing a Baja vehicle. Could have easily gone for something a lot more, you know, obvious or a little bit more capable maybe in terms of what it could do stock, but with the upgrades that they've given this, they've made it into a true off-road, you know, legend, quite frankly, in terms of the fact that you can actually do any of this at all. And it's so capable on-road as well, although not quite as fun. Because, yeah, then you start to notice other elements about it, like the fact it's got extremely soft suspension, does roll around quite a fair bit, and yeah, it's obviously not as, doesn't feel as fast on-road as it does off-road, purely because, you know, off-road just generally does feel quite quick, because you've got a lot more to concentrate on than you do on-road. So yeah, off-road is where it's at home, which doesn't mean that it's a bit of a one-trick pony, but as far as tricks go, this is yeah, a really, really good one, and yeah, really glad it's on the game. And yeah, when you realise, you know, it's a Mexican racing, well, off-road champion, and yeah, succeeded at getting in podiums twice as well, then you realise why it's on the game at all. And yeah, couldn't really think of many other cars that that have done this kind of thing as well, to be honest, that have been taken from standard road car to off-road champion, and yeah, still managed to retain some of its 911 aspects, because it's still got its flat 6 engine, still in the rear, and still got rear wheel drive. And yeah, obviously it was an all-wheel drive version of the 911 at the time, but obviously the 911s are more at home at being rear wheel drive overall. And yeah, really, really do like it. So yeah, if you've never tried this yet, then I highly recommend doing so. You will have, if you played this game, you will have used it in the opening, I think, when you were going through different parts of the world. But still, a cracking car, and yeah, well worth its place on this game. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.